It's just a phase. Don't think about it. It could be worse. These are some of the feedback that people receive when they start opening up about their mental health, demeaning the severity of the issue. So, what exactly is mental illness? Mental illnesses are health conditions involving changes in thinking, emotion, or behavior, which often results in difficulty to cope with life's ordinary demands and routines. As of 2020, mental illness is expected to be the second biggest health problem affecting Malaysians after heart disease. According to the National Health Morbidity Survey in 2019, 2.3% of Malaysian adults are depressed. That's about 500,000 of people. Mental illness does not discriminate. It can affect anyone regardless of age, gender, race, social status, or income. This is shown from the 424,000 children that were found to have mental health problems in Malaysia. As such, there are several contributing factors that cause mental health complications, in which 43% is associated with peer problems, 16% with conduct problems, 8% with emotional problems, and the remaining 3% with hyperactive problems. Therefore, awareness on this issue is important, which is exactly why we have chosen this project.
I'm going to read 3 confessions. I'm 24 now. When I was diagnosed depression when I was 15, depression occurred to me one day suddenly which I feel unable to seek for help. When I'm with friends, I remain social and normal for them. I didn't tell my family as I didn't want them to worry. The second confession. Today I feel great. Even though I'm in a good mood today, I'm aware it is going to be crap again, but it will be fine again. Each crap day will end and there will be another day. I don't want someone reading this to think that I have it all together. I don't. Today I have a good day. The third confession, I'm on a journey to mental health maintenance. I don't say I have recovered because I have recovered is denying a part of myself. After I reading this anonymous confession, it really made me want to raise the awareness of mental health illness because I think most of the people don't really understand how to deal with the people who suffer from mental illness because they don't have the knowledge about the mental health problem. I think by raising this mental health awareness project, it will make people become more knowledge about how to deal with people who suffer from mental illness. And lastly, for those people who suffer from mental illness, there is no shame in not being okay. It's okay to say I am not okay. You can do it.
Sometimes life is too hard. There are times when you just want to be in bed and keep crying. But until when? I have to get up for a brighter future instead of just serving the nesting evil feeling. I understand where this person is coming from. I know it is overwhelming when on top of the issues that we also have responsibilities that we have to uphold and also high expectations set by others or expectations that we set on ourselves. I, as a student, I am expected to study hard so that I can have a brighter future. But sometimes it weakens my mind and it's demotivating when I am unable to reach up to these expectations. Next. Mental health is something to preach but hard to achieve. There is always a voice that keeps me from feeling alright. I agree with what this person is saying. It's true that mental health is something that we can raise awareness on, but may not reach everyone. However, when we raise awareness on mental health, there's a higher chance for someone to be able to identify the symptoms in others and try to give out a helping hand. Or they will be able to identify the symptoms in themselves and they will be able to know who to reach out to when they need help. I do have negative thoughts sometimes and I know it's kind of hard to run away from them. But the least I think that can be done by individuals like us is to listen to those who need someone who can hear them out.
My parents put too much pressure on me. I'm afraid I won't be able to live up to their expectations. I think especially growing up in an Asian community, we tend to have these huge expectations placed on us, and whether it's from our parents, our peers, close family members, I get what you mean by these expectations tend to become overwhelming because there's such a high bar that we have to pass through. But sometimes you have to tell yourself that every progress that you make, whether it's big or small, it's still progress and should still be appreciated. And if nobody has told you that your efforts have been appreciated, then let me tell you that you are appreciated and nothing you've done goes to waste. Being a student is just too hard. There are too many things to juggle that I sometimes can't catch a break from myself. Look, I get it. I'm in ACCA and there's so many things to do, like academics, co-curriculars, a social life, and sometimes it just tends to be a lot for us to manage on our own. But we have to tell ourselves that if you take too much at one time, that you'll eventually burn out. So be sure to prioritize things well. You can make a calendar, you could maybe have a small journal. What's important is you take one thing at a time and don't take too many things at a short amount of time, or else you're going to completely overwhelm yourself. And don't forget to take breaks. Breaks are important. Who knows, maybe after a small break, you might even be operating better than how you did before the break. You never know. I understand where a lot of these confessions are coming from, especially being a student myself. I just urge everybody watching this, or everybody that has given a confession, to speak to someone. Speak to a friend, speak to a family, speak to anybody that you're comfortable with. Because I promise you, you're not alone in this. And there's always going to be someone out there who's willing to listen to your problems. I promise you.
I am a SPM student, so a lot of studying is going through this year. One day, around June, I received some news about my mother's health condition. She has been tested positive for COVID. I really don't think I can keep up with studying. Okay, to whatever person this is, I think you should have this positive mindset that if I can get a good aspirant result, my mom will have the patience to fight this disease. Okay, you should have this thinking to avoid unnecessary negative energy. Being a SPM student in this time, it's very hard and challenging. Focus is the key. I hope you can get the result that you need. I'm one of the airline schoolmates who's currently doing Grab. I'm doing so because my workplace has given me notice of termination as a result of the pandemic. I have a wife and a newborn baby. I really don't know how to cope with this disaster. Every day I'm struggling to find income. How should I do? Okay, first thing first, I can really understand this because my dad is also facing this. I asked him how you should do that. He then replied, one thing to consider is that you really need to be very courageous, okay? Otherwise you will be very depressed. Okay, second, you need to take whatever opportunity you get in front of you in order to succeed. Third, you should try your best for everything you do so that you can maximize your earnings and do not give up. You will get it through without any problem.
Always been private when it comes to my mental health. In 2020, I'm willing to change that. I really wish mental health wasn't such a taboo subject and that people did not feel ashamed to speak of their struggles because it's not their fault. Well, I actually agree with that because for people with mental health and health problem and not being able to speak out about it openly will actually impact them negatively as it will worsen their illness. So by getting more and more people speaking up and talking about their mental health problem, we can break down the stereotypes, we can improve the relationship, aid recoveries, and take the stigma out of something that has been affecting us all. I really hope that more and more people will be speaking up about their mental health problem because in this era, mental health problem is not a taboo anymore, and I hope that this will ensure them that it's okay to talk about it openly and open up freely. Now let's move on to the next confession. People won't always know if you are struggling. Sometimes it feels like being silent is the only viable option. After all, why would you want to burden someone else with your problem? I actually get the point where, since this is our problem, why would I burden someone else with it? But then the thing is, if he's really your friend, he would not think of this as a burden. Instead, he will be more than willing to help you face through what you're facing. And with more people brainstorming together, I think that it might be quicker to reach a solution to deal with what you are dealing. And burdening someone really is just an assumption of us, and it's not the real fact that what your friend were thinking. So I hope that you can really speak up to your friend and ask for their advice or opinion to help you get through what you're facing. And that's all from me.
I was diagnosed with clinical depression, anxiety, and obsessive tendencies while I was growing up. But I probably exhibited symptoms of depression long before that. Still, I didn't understand why sometimes I would just feel sad. And sometimes I'd suddenly just find everything to be entirely too much and just shut off from the rest of the world at a drop of a hat. Slowly you learn to distinguish what is just feeling sad and what is depression. And you begin to strategize when it comes to seeing each one through. One of the most useful strategies that I have found, plain and simple, make it a point to laugh every day. Especially on the days when things just feel god awful and sad and like there is nothing worth laughing about. Sometimes I force myself to laugh or have conversations with random people just to get my mind off of things. I think up little jokes. I try to find the friends who I think are funny. I watch a show I really love. Anything to just remind myself that you can be sad and laugh at the same day, maybe even at the same time. Your depression is only one factor to you, no matter how much it may loom over you and cloud the rest of your emotions. But forcing a little bit of laughter in daily works wonders.
Hearing these stories have truly changed our views on mental health and further emphasizes the importance of educating ourselves about mental health so we can support our loved ones who may be going through this. We believe there's never any shame in saying, I need help. And in this day and age, we are blessed with many avenues to seek support. If you are struggling with your mental health, you may contact hotlines such as the Malaysian Mental Health Association, which provides support via their phone line, while also having qualified mental health professionals providing psychological support services. In addition to that, Befrienders is a not-for-profit organization providing emotional support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to people who are lonely, in distress, in despair, and having suicidal thoughts, all without a charge. Through effective public awareness initiatives, we firmly believe that the attitude of Malaysians towards mental disorders will improve. Education is the most important step to understanding mental health, so it is important to educate our communities, employers, schools, and government to change the way we think about it. Learning to cope with mental health issues is difficult and overwhelming, but it can be done.